So, my 2.0 debut with a T cut off. My 2.0 debut. I'm so excited to be able to present to you my 2.0 debut. I need to get more art made of my new outfit because I have to admit that the outfit up here is my old outfit, but shh, it's fine. Shh, you don't have to think about it. Shh, it's okay. It's okay. Shh, don't worry about it. It'll be fine. So, first and foremost, welcome to your dreams. My name is Kana, and I am your resident Dreamwalker. A Dreamwalker is one who traverses through dreamscapes hosted by one, or in rare instances, multiple people who have been submerged deep into slumber. And transportation to each subsequent dream occurs when the dreamscape destabilizes or the host wakes up. The Dreamwalker has no control over said transportation. And so there's no way to predict or determine which dream you're going to enter next, what's going to happen next. It is absolute abject chaos as you just fall into dream after dream after dream nonstop because dreams are very sporadic. Like as you all probably know, as probably having dreamt before in your lives, dreams are very chaotic, and a lot of the time they're very like wildly shifting all the time. There's a lot of changes going on. It's not a very concrete landscape. And so because of that, as someone who is just a bystander who is traversing through your dreams, I have no control over it, and it becomes very chaotic. And that's a big part of my lore. So I am a Dreamwalker. I walk through your dreams, and I, because of this, have no corporeal form. I don't have a physical body, and so I'm only able to manifest in stream format by broadcasting across dreams to the screen that you're viewing now, which is in your dreams. So character design, let's talk a little bit about the character design because I spent a long time working on this, and I actually started working on my model before I finished making the design. So up here, there's a couple of different sketches from all of, like the sort of versions that I made. And this on the left side of the second image over here is actually a design that I will make a comeback at some point. I do want to revisit this because I really do like this design, and it'll be simple and cozy and easy for both myself and other people to draw. So this will come back at some point. And then I spent a lot of time layering onto this particular sketch here to add details and figure out how I wanted the design to actually look from a distance. And you see the remnants of the butt cape here, the good old butt cape, because originally I was going to have pants with like a sort of like ruffled cape on one side. Ultimately, it didn't work out that way. I kept bashing my head against the wall trying to make it work, and it wouldn't work, so I gave up and I decided to redo that design element so that it would be a little bit more cohesive, and I'm happy with what I've landed on now, which is the skirt. So these were some early sketches. This might make a comeback, but I'm not going to reveal too much about this design yet because this is something that's way too far in the future that I won't be able to work on for a very long time. So alas, that will be for another time. But yes, this is the design that I ended up falling upon. I will say that the ruffles around the neck were a pain in the ass to be able to make. So, just putting that out there. So yeah, I started working on this. I went back through my screenshots and through my logs, and I started this pretty much on roughly November 2nd, 2025. So this was quite literally like 6 whole months ago. I started working on this. Early designs were rough sketches with layers of detail added over time. So yeah, I started working on like the face and the hair of the model because I knew that I wanted the face and the hair to like mostly remain the same design-wise. And then I figured out the rest of the outfit as I went, which is not a great way to make a model, to be so for real with you, and that's probably why it took me so long to finish my model. But it's fine, it's okay. So for initial vibes, I was looking to design either something casual, which is this design right here, or an upgrade to my previous 1.0 model design, which is pretty much what I ended up going with this like suit idea. It kind of bounces off of what I had originally with like the ruffled sleeves, the suit sort of looking thing that's like a modification of a suit waistcoat thing, and then some sort of like formal wear for like the bottom. I bounced between casual sweaters versus ornate suits because like one of the initial designs was this big flowing like floor length gown, I guess, but with like a sweater over it so that it would be this like chunky looking thing with like, I don't know. I have an image on it on a later slide, so you'll see that in a sec. And the overall concept, I know I'm covering this part a little bit with my model, but stars and stars and more stars. So basically, as with the Dreamwalker theme, I have a lot of stars and moon and cloud themes, as you can tell by my overlay and a lot of the stuff that I've made for my new visual assets. And then I've got the blue color scheme and gold accents. As is evident in my design, as you see. Modernized Victorian clothing style is kind of what I was going for in terms of the overall like concept. And then the ruffles and suit / waistcoat on top is like a big theme of mine, as well as some elegant drapery. So yeah, this is the overall character design. So the process was long-winded. As you can see up on the left side here is one of the old concepts. It would have this like ribbed shirt, this ribbed like turtleneck sweater, some like shawl that was draped over the shoulders and like hanging down over some of the arm. And then it will flow out to sort of form a cape behind her. And then this long draped skirt of sorts. So that was my initial concept, and then it turns out I was like, we could do better than this. Girly pop, we could do better than this. And I ended up making a far more ornate design, which ended up looking closer to this before I added a lot of like the ornaments and jewelry. So another thing that I really wanted to do was also, at some point, I ended up shifting the color scheme ever so slightly so that the hues of blue are darker. So originally I had the ends of my hair, like the end of the ponytail and the ends of my bangs, be a lighter color blue. In my previous PNG tuber, as well as my previous model, that was the case. However, I realized that I like the darker look, and it is... As soon as I tried out the darker gradient, it stuck, and I've kept that since then. So yeah, these are just some work in progress images of like screenshots that I took as I was still working on it. So main takeaway is that I hate making models and I hate rigging even more, but I have a love-hate relationship with it, so so I'm gonna keep doing it because I hate myself, I guess. I truly have a terrible time making models sometimes. I tear my hair out. Rigging is a pain in my ass, but I do it anyway for the love of the game, I guess. And then revisions. Man, this character model went through so many different revisions. I started making the new model before finishing the design, so a lot of the time was spent revising the sketches as I went to figure out what elements I wanted to keep. And this was very true because I had so many different iterations of what ended up being what I have now. So we won't talk about the butt cape. Moving on. Anyway, this is the final design. I've posted this up on my Twitter. I think it's up on my Discord as well. And yeah, I would highly recommend letting me know if you need this on any other platform too. If you want like a higher resolution version of this too, let me know. Please let me know. Give me feedback and tell me things. But yeah, this is the final design as of right now. And oh my god. I knocked out this reference sheet so fast, like within a day after I finished my model. I'll have you know, so I finished my model on April 5th, 2026, and I screamed really loud when I realized I finished my model. I do truly believe my neighbors probably hate me for streaming at odd hours and screaming all the time, but and I remember being in a voice call with a bunch of my friends, and I was working on the rigging, and I was like, wait a minute, am I done? Am I actually done? And then the way that I hooted and hollered and screamed and cried and laughed because I finally finished it. It was like a very exciting time for me because I was like, finally, after months upon months upon months of work, I finally gotten this done. And so this is the progression of my model stuff from 2024 till now. On the left-hand side, this one is my PNG tuber from ages ago. And this was where some of the beginning hallmarks of the design became a bit more consistent. So we've got like the tassel over here. We've got this overall like blue and white color scheme. And at this time was when I had like kind of nailed down the design elements, like the thematics at least, more like clearly. And this was also when my art style was really like evolving more into what it is now. The quality of my artwork was really like improving at a rapid pace. And then not too long after, in 2025, is when I made my 1.0 model, which is what I've been using up until now. And this model is very janky because it was the first one that I made, and some of the resolution of the brushstrokes was not as good as I wanted it to be. And so, but it was just a test. It was just a test run. It was just like my first trial. And then I ended up streaming with this for how long? For like 8 months. But yeah, I'm glad that we're moving on, and we've got this new model over here that I think is a huge step up. You can see the quality difference between the two in terms of like the more consistent rendering style, the jewelry that I have on here, the color scheme I also really love. This, it's like a huge step up. Other assets. I've made a ton of other assets. Again, all of this hand drawn by me. All of this was painstakingly created. So this is just a screenshot of like my little recording setup for my short form content. And then also I drew this shortly after the new pictures of the moon with a bunch of like the colors on the moon came out. So I drew that. And this is for my starting soon screen. So I did a 6-frame animation of me floating in space holding a star, which is very lore related. I also have a bunch of new emotes. A bunch of these are free emotes that you can use without having to sub. And then some of these emotes are locked behind the sub badge. So I tried to make my best emotes, like the ones that I like the most and that I think will be used the most frequently. I tried to make those free to use because I only have 5 slots for that. I picked, I think, the heart, the excite, the big brain, this one, and then the lurk. So these 5 emotes up at the top here, I believe, are the ones that are free to use without having to sub. And then the bottom 3, as well as a couple other emotes that I had commissioned a while back. I made these in a stream like last week or something, or the week before. So yeah, these are quite new, and I hope that you guys all like them. And then overlay. So this is one of my favorite parts of my new stream setup. I have to be so for real. Like, the animation is pretty and everything, and I'm happy with how that turned out. However, the overlay is truly like a passion project, like a work of love. The overlay for this really did have a gajillion layers involved. So there you have the background with the stars, you have multiple layers of clouds that move behind my head, and then a little like window with like a wall next to it. And then you've got chat over here, as well as a separate layer for both the microphone and the tablet, so I can remove those if need be. But yes, my drawing tablet is here, as well as my microphone. I will say I made it pretty quickly, but one of the biggest struggles of this was actually making some of the overlay layers work when I moved everything into OBS and had to have it like all collapsed down into individual layers. So it was a little bit of a pain to set up, but now that it's been set up, it looks great. And then I have the leaves and the flickering lantern, which when I go back to my just chatting screen, take a closer look at the flickering light, because with the way that I drew it, it's a static flame. And you want to know what I did? You want to know what I did? I just got a GIF of a flickering flame and I slapped it on top. So I didn't animate that myself. It's just there. So yeah, I really wanted to have a type of overlay that had like a sort of, had some objects that were layered over things in the stream so that it would look a bit more 3D. You get like a foreground, a midground, and a background. I really wanted to have that layering effect because I felt like it would be way more cohesive, and also because this is all in my own art style, it ended up also being like way more effective than I feared it would be. So I like to think that it's a pretty unique setup. So I created an ARG behind which my character's lore and backstory will await. All 5 parts of this ARG are available on all of my social media platforms, and this ARG and its corresponding sites, stories, and videos will remain available unless otherwise stated, or unless my channel gets like, I don't know, thrown into disarray or my like card account gets shut down or something like that. The format is poster. It leads you to a website, which is a research article, and then the research article, you will find a clue in there based on other clues on the poster, and then you will be directed to a card website that I have created. The formatting for each card website is pretty much exactly the same except for part 4, where the formatting is only slightly different in the way that the story is presented to you. And so, if you can find all 5 parts, at the very end of the 5th part, there will be a link to a video. And that video is an unlisted video on my YouTube channel, which houses the final conclusion for the ARG. And even if you don't make it all the way to the end, I think that it will be a very interesting sort of exploration of my character's lore. But the whole concept of this ARG is as you progressively go through each set of clues, each poster, you are descending into a deeper layer of sleep. And at the very deepest layer of sleep possible, only then will you be able to find me. And so that is a little tidbit about my lore and about the ARG that I've made. I spent a substantial amount of time working on this. I spent a substantial amount of time writing the story that is hidden in this ARG. So if you would be so kind as to participate in it, I would be absolutely delighted if y'all can enjoy it. Alright, so content-wise, my content is generally art streams and chatting, and so I yap a lot. I'm a big yapper, and I also do a metric ton of art. So these are some fan arts that I've made about an August anomaly. So yeah, we got chill vibes here. We've got VTuber fan art, which I'll be doing a lot of. Sometimes I do also art and model commission work on stream as well, though a little bit less so. And I also will do art critiques and tips if that is something that people want in the future. If I'm doing an art stream at any point and y'all want a critique on something, feel free to just ping me in the Discord, let me know, and I can pull it up on stream and do a critique right then and there. So don't hesitate to ask. I'm willing to do it usually. It'll be a lot of art stuff, and also I have a couple of other ideas for content in the future. I do want to also occasionally do some games and some collab stuff with people, but that's still sort of a work in progress for the time being. I'm not as much of a gamer as I wish I could be, but hopefully I'll do more of it in the future. Now, the big announcement that I wanted to keep a secret until now, I'm starting a story podcast. Now, I don't know whether I will be able to make this podcast start this week or next week, but it will be soon. I will be starting this podcast. It will be streamed on Wednesdays, both to YouTube and to Twitch as dual streaming. And then I will grab the recording, I will make some minor edits maybe, and some adjustments. I will throw in the intro that I have edited and made ready for this podcast. It's a super simple thing, don't get too hyped. But this podcast will then be uploaded on Fridays. This podcast is called Friday Night Fairy Tales. I will be doing story reading. I've been told that my voice is nice, so hopefully I can use it to my advantage. We'll see. And I will be doing so I'll be starting out with the Grimm fairy tales, and I'm also gonna do some more digging for folklore stories, fairy tales, things like that. The only thing that I really need to do is check for copyright issues to make sure that I don't infringe on anything, so I might need a little bit more time to prepare just to make sure I hash out some of the details, but otherwise I will be doing this fairy tale story reading podcast. I'm very excited. I made this logo a couple days ago. I want to make it a weekly thing. Hopefully I'll have it ready by this upcoming Wednesday. I have not released a schedule yet for this week, partially because I'm not entirely sure yet whether I will be able to make it this Wednesday, but I really want to be able to do it. It'll be for basically a couple hours on Wednesdays, starting 5:30 p.m. EST, and then, yeah, it'll be uploaded on Fridays. at some point during the day whenever I have time. So I'm gonna try to make it as consistent as possible of a podcast. I will also see about trying to make it available via, like, I don't know, DistroKid, like distributing or something as a podcast on places like Spotify, Apple Podcast maybe. So we'll see. We will see how this goes. I want to sort of like propagate it more around places. We will see. This is definitely a new concept for me that I'm kind of trial running. So the first couple episodes, as I get into the swing of things, might be a little bit scuffed, but I have good things planned and hopefully y'all will enjoy it. This will be a regular thing that I'll be putting out onto YouTube and hopefully other platforms. And hopefully it'll also be a good podcast for whenever you guys are like, I don't know, cleaning your house or apartment or room or whatever, or like studying or something, or I don't know, doing whatever else like menial task that is boring as fuck and so you want some background music, background stuff. I personally am a big proponent of listening to podcasts while I'm getting any particular work done. I really wanted to give back to the community my own little bit of content so that other people can also enjoy something from me, and I don't know, we'll see how it goes. I hope that people really enjoy it. And that is it for my presentation. I'll see you in your dreams.